Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today we're playing another Planeswalker list, this time Esper Planeswalkers, Esper Super Friends if you will. So a few things are pushing all these Planeswalker decks that you may have encountered on the ladder, and maybe we can talk about why that's happening. And it's really these two cards. Narset Parter of Veils and Teferi Time Raveler both make the traditional Esper strategies of counter your stuff and sit back and draw cards with Chemister's Insight absolutely like train wrecks. They come down for only 3 mana. You can cast Thought Erasure first, which can take a counter spell away from the opponent, and then once these are on the field, a traditional control deck has a very hard time removing them. So none of your counter spells work, your card draw doesn't work, and now the decks just accumulate this value and run all over you. Now, for some people, those old draw-go strategies were very, very fun, but for most people, they didn't enjoy them. So I don't think anybody's missing them much. I think what people will get kind of tired of very quickly is that those decks now are like, okay, we can't counter stuff. We're just going to play all the Planeswalkers, a million Planeswalkers, and overwhelm you with value. Just crush you with Teferi +1s and Lilianas and Ugins, and we're going to run all those Narsets and Teferis ourselves. Oliver Tomiko got second place at SCG Syracuse this last weekend using a similar deck, and it was a beast. For best of one, I've done some small modifications. I added a 26th land because when this deck doesn't draw its land, it just fails miserably. It pretty much has to get lands 3, 4, and 5 on time regularly to be a decent deck. I added a 4th Oath of Kaya, which is so good against the red decks, but is surprisingly effective against every deck that tries to attack down all your Planeswalkers. If they're attacking your Planeswalkers over and over and over, and you can get some chip shots in on their life total with Kasmina, eventually their life total gets so low they can't attack your Planeswalkers anymore, which is pretty absurd. And I've used Oath of Kaya also to just burn the opponent out when they go down too low on life from attacking my Planeswalkers. It's pretty nuts. Then Kaya's Wrath is also in the deck. Just blow up all the things. Sweepers and Planeswalkers. Tale as old as time. We have 2 cast downs, a Moment of Craving. We have 2 copies of the Elder Spell and 4 copies of Thought Erasure. Now, one adjustment that I believe is going to start happening involves the Immortal Sun. And this is not a card this deck can currently beat. If the opponent plays an Immortal Sun, it turns off basically my entire deck, and I have no win cons, which is very, very tragic. So we're going to make a small adjustment to the build on the fly, and we're going to add a copy of Despark, which can exile the Immortal Sun to the main deck, and hopefully it doesn't cost us too much. Another card you see here in the main deck, the Elder Spell. The Elder Spell is actually here, of course, to win the Planeswalker Showdown. And that should be pretty obvious. It's absolutely crushing in that matchup. But it's also hidden, like sneaky here, to let you turbo ultimate your Teferi. When you have a Narset on 1 and a Kasmina on 1, for example, that are all used up, and 7 mana, you can play Teferi. You can use Elder Spell on your own Planeswalkers, pump your Teferi to 8, and ultimate it immediately, which is almost certainly a lock on the game. So that's what that is doing here, and it's a lot of fun. Now, I am worried about this Despark because Cast Down and Moment of Craving removes small creatures, which gives us time for our Planeswalkers. Despark does not, so I'm pretty nervous that this isn't going to work out very well, but I have started to see some Immortal Sun decks on the ladder. I don't want to be totally ice cold to them, although I'm sure that would give you all a good laugh if somebody Immortal Sun locked me. But maybe I can just... Now I can stay in those games and just watch the opponent grind me out until I rip the Despark. All right, let's go play some games. We're knocking on Mythic's door. Let's see what happens. Ooh, the all-tap land hand. I hate it, but I have trouble mulliganing these on the play. On the draw, I mulligan them every time because I think I'll be too slow. But on the play, I think I can make it up. We'll see if that holds true here today, as our hand is really bad against red. You might think the red matchup is really atrocious from looking at the deck, but I found it to be more closer to 50-50, to be honest. When you get traction with Planeswalkers, they can have a hard time with it. And is it the Thought Erasure? It's always the Thought Erasure. What does Thought Erasure take? It always takes Thought Erasure. What does Thought Erasure keep on top? Another Thought Erasure. Well, that was a bad draw. I suppose I should have played a double blue last turn and thought about it a little bit harder. How unfortunate. Let's see if the opponent has the double Thought Erasure for the Narset right here, right now. They have their own Narset. And they have their own Elder Spell, so here's the mirror. Will my opponent Elder Spell one Narset? I don't think they will, but they might find another Thought Erasure. So it makes a lot of sense to hit them with this Thought Erasure right now. And they're mixing land, which is the bright side. Let's take away the Elder Spell. And yeah, I need to get up to 6 mana. I have a Liliana Dreadhorde General who wants to come out and play. Narset doesn't draw land though, and there it is. Our opponent would have hit the other Thought Erasure. And they go with the Narset. They don't care about the Liliana. See, the Oath of Kaya could have killed the Narset. Interesting. But right away you can see we're way behind in material because we've drawn lands our opponent hasn't, so we need them to miss for a while. They kept a Time Raveler on top instead of a land. I don't know about that. I also don't know about the minus when you know Liliana might come down and there could be a token you can minus on. But opponents living their own life. Do they hit for the Teferi? That's the question now. And even if they do, they have to deal with the zombie.
I've got time.
And they say go. Well, I get to draw a card if this dies. Let's send it in. And we want the Narset if the opponent's going to give up a card because of Kasmina. And there you go. And I don't get the card. Very sad, I know. We may as well play the Kasmina and use our mana. But if we minus it to make another 2/2, if we minus it to make another 2/2, we'll just have to discard. We won't actually draw, which is pretty tragic. Time be Ravelin. Oath of Kaya. Target. Okay, I get a card this time because it's my opponent's turn. 2 lands off the top is far from ideal. I guess I could go ahead and make a 2/2 then.
My students are loyal geniuses.
And your turn, I suppose. Things going pretty rough, but we are on the edge of a Liliana Ultimate. Knocking the opponent back to 1 land could be something. Brutal. Our opponent draws another copy of the Elder Spell. Brutal. And just having the Kasmina down there. Ugh. Tip. Yeah, that's definitely game. There's nothing I can really do other than draw my own Elder Spell at some point. This Narset is just absolutely a wrecking ball on me. We'll play out another one, but I don't want to make another 2/2 right now. It just dies to the Kaya's Wrath, and I'd have to discard. And our opponent, all these cards with no land. Pretty amazing. And it's, I think, the only thing that has us in the game. Our opponent probably has the option of playing another... Okay, they did draw land. I don't know what they're tanking about. Seems like pretty clear, I'll play Teferi, but what do I know about Magic? Well, if we can get rid of Narset, we can rebuild a bit. Got him. Alright, you can go. Let's get Narset down. Our own Narset to take on our opponent's Teferi. And now we work on finding... Now, I think that the plan is going to be that we work on finding our own Elder Spell. Oath of Kaya can reach out and kill a Planeswalker, which makes it a pretty good grab. Am I in the business of killing Planeswalkers right now or casting them? I have another Time Raveler after all. So we'll grab that. Bouncing Oath of Kaya isn't good. But taking this low might get it Kaya'd. I still think that we minus it here, though. We want the card pretty badly. Because we need to catch up on our opponent, who has plenty of cards. And there's an Oath of Kaya from the opponent. Targets our Narset, most certainly. Yep.
Train harder.
Keep up the pace.
I assume we'll see our opponent's Narset. Nope. Dovin. Interesting. Trying to keep Teferi alive.
Your imperfections is maddening.
So right now we can attack for 2, then Kaya for 3, but that's not enough damage. Let's start with a Narset. Get deeper and deeper. Ugin. Alright. Well, if our opponent doesn't find a quick thought erasure, Ugin can help out a lot. Ooh. Hello. Is it time? We could put a lot more counters on our Narset. We can also play this at instant speed.
I've got it.
And right now the Teferi doesn't do much. It would be so much better if I found my own Teferi. This is a tough one to think about. Bear with me. I do think I can get more. And of course, if I use my own Teferi with it, I just win and stuff, so... Let's try picking on our opponent's Teferi. I think that the Dovin isn't too bad of a hindrance at this point. But yeah, I really need to do the Elder Spell combo with my own Teferi so that I can ultimate it right away. I think that's how I have to steal this game. Also, the more 2/2s we make, the more the opponent has to Kaya's Wrath at some point. The opponent knows we have an Oath of Kaya, and they know we didn't use it. They could assume we're waiting for a better target, but they could also assume that it means we have some counterplay. You might be saying, but CGB, you have to use the Elder Spell. The opponent's going to draw a card with Teferi. Remember, they cannot do that with Narset on the battlefield. They can plus their Teferi, but they can't draw a card with it. Yep.
We need to move quickly.
So there's the Oath of Kaya. There's the Narset shutdown. Untap some lands. That still works. But without their own Teferi, this is mainly a sorcery speed deck, and here we go. You see how we do, my friends. You see how we do.
I'm known. Excellent time. Don't worry. I got this.
We can minus this Narset first and try to find what? Kasmina can draw more cards, which is nice. Thought Erasure, though, hitting the hand is pretty nice too, but I don't think it's necessary here. I think what's in the hand after this trick isn't going to matter anymore. Ooh, I'm short a land. Ouch. Because of frickin' Dovin. I should have known better. Alright. Well, hopefully Teferi doesn't die, because then I punted this game so badly. I could also go for the Elder Spell now, but I can do it at instant speed. And we're pretty much in the same position as last turn, so let's see if the opponent finds a way to deal with my Teferi. Oh, my greed. My greed got me. Still, I want that Narset from my opponent, too. I want all their Planeswalkers. Darn it. They had to have an Ugin. Alright. Does Ugin go after my Teferi, is the question now. Ugin goes after my Narset. Wonderful. And my opponent's tapped out? Okay, well, they could still minus the Teferi to target my Teferi, so we gotta let this resolve first. And there's the plus.
You know what? I'm not done yet.
And alright. So those of you in the comments, be nice to me. I am so bad at static Planeswalker abilities. I do not try to hide this. It is just true. I know very, very well. Alright, so because we have this Teferi, our opponent can't play instants anyway, so we may as well get the job done.
An anomaly, not to be repeated.
Alright. And that's game. The opponent doesn't want to watch that Teferi ultimate. Oh, that D-Spark's going to get me. So I mulligan 2 land hands with this deck because, quite honestly, you need better. Or at least like a Thought Erasure and a Teferi to draw a card. Like, you just die if you keep 2 landers with nothing else. Nah, land. I don't even know if that's good in the matchup. Okay, it was good in the matchup. You got me. You got me there. But the lands are still that important, I think. I think it's still the right move. Steamies. Alright. Let's see if how many 1-drops they have in this hand. Gimme. Woo! Yeah, let's keep the land that doesn't hurt us on top. That's a good call. So that we don't have to shock ourselves next turn. Basically save 2 life with that by keeping that land. Oh, look what they drew. Isn't that nice? I mean, of course they were going to draw good stuff. Miss. Son of a... Frickin' Steamykin. Does the opponent play out the Pyromancer with the Steamkin mana? No, they do not. Alright, good. Let's go, Teferi. Time to save my butt.
Let's slow this down.
Bounce that.
I have a plan.
Thought Erasure. Not the greatest timing. Gonna need that Kaya's Wrath and another Black Source in the next couple draws. It's a lot to ask. A lot to ask. Oh my. Oh my. I think you attack now. There you go. Alright, there's the Black Source. Here's the Oath of Kaya. Not quite dead. Maybe Narset can go get a Moment of Craving. Maybe the opponent will attack my Planeswalker like a fool. No? You don't want to attack my Planeswalker? Darn it. And do they hold back the Steamkin? They do. Alright. Narset getting Moment of Craving, I guess, is the best thing I can do here.
That's more like
And I need... Oh, I guess I'll have a Black Source anyway from the Isolated Chapel. And we missed. Go out like a G. Should have kept the cast down. Well, we've got a curve this time. I guarantee we're not against red again, though. We're going to be against a control deck. 100%, right? Because a hand this good against an aggro deck, it just doesn't happen in best of 1. Oh. Aha. Ha. What have we here? What have we here? So I'm going to let the token be, as it's a really good target for Teferi. Or will I? Snubby is also not something I can crave. Sky Marcher is, though. Sky Marcher is a good target. Next turn, Oath of Kaya can pick on Snubby. It is really good to get your Oath of Kaya down before you play your Planeswalker, if you can. Obviously, then, if they decide that they're going to attack your Planeswalker, you get that little life boost against these aggro decks. We need another white source before these Kaya's Wraths matter, though. That's a bit scary. Snubby returns. Rustwing Falcon. Living the high life. No attacks. Funky. Well, I could just take out Snubby again. So Snubby's just going to be part of this Kaya's Wrath experience eventually. I could take out the Falcon, and then if the opponent doesn't play another creature with power, Teferi Time Raveler bouncing this makes Teferi really likely to live. So I think that's the play. Keep them dead. Just keep them dead. Make them go away. Stop doing all this, like, little white creature stuff. Well, kind of deflates the other plan. The opponent's definitely playing, like, sweeper cautious, which isn't a bad thing for us. They're deploying just enough things to potentially flip the landing, is their plan. But I can keep messing with that plan.
Right on schedule.
No more token. It's being protected by the bodyguard too, which is another good reason. Ooh, nice. I was hoping I would hit a land like that. It's not only the other black source we need for the Kai's Wrath, or white source I mean, but the Thought Erasure can hit this hand, and yeah, let's not be an unbreakable formation. Let's break up that formation. Pretty cruel. Pretty cruel. To not let them be the formation that they want to be. And is there an attack on Teferi? Yeah. 29 life. Love it. Keep it going. And here's the Sky Marcher, because our opponent does want to threaten to flip this landing. It's a very important part of their strategy, but we punish them. Yeah, that protected the token, not the snubby. Sorry. I know, you may as well sacrifice it. What do you got to lose? Ooh, Time Raveler versus... Is that a token you have?
This isn't a fight you can win.
There we go.
I am not making this up as I go.
Setting up Liliana. Love it. I mean, History of Benalia is a powerful card, but creature tokens are so weak now against Teferi Time Raveler. It's pretty amazing. We'll go ahead and plus this.
Oh, I've done the hero.
Now, we could play the Liliana and minus it and kill both of our opponent's things, or we could instant speed Kaya's Wrath. Either are pretty devastating. Either are extremely devastating. But instant speed Kaya's Wrath is something I do want to show you all. I got so excited I knocked out my own headphone. So check it out. We'll wait for the opponent to send in their attackers. And if they attack the Teferi, for example, we get the drain from Oath of Kaya, and then we wrath them. It's pretty saucy. If they attack my face, I'll just take it. Because they still want to play their third creature to flip the Legion's landing. Alright. Boom. Thanks for the life. There's another Marshal. Let's play Liliana. Let's make zombies. No, the opponent says no, I don't want to tangle with Liliana and her zombies. Thank you. I would rather run away. Alright. Our hand is a bit slow and on the draw, but we have all the right colors of mana. So we have to hope we're not against super aggro here. Cross your fingers. Ah! No! Not good. Okay. Well, they didn't play a turn one thing, but that always means they have a Steamkin. My body is ready. Ah! Yeah, I could have Elder Spell nothing. Cool, thanks for highlighting that. I wonder why it says destroy any number of Planeswalkers when the number could be 0. I guess it's just easy wording, but whatever. So, I'm actually happy with this. I'll take that. Ow. But I'm pretty happy with that, because I can Time Ravel. I have a lot of life gain in my deck in Oath of Kaya's if I can find them. So, we'll work on that plan. Find my Oath of Kaya, please. Return of the Steamkin. Shock away my Teferi. Well,
We will meet again.
yes we will. Right frickin' now, homie.
I know my responsibility. Here we go.
Shut those Steamykins down, please. Buy me time for those Thought Erasures. I need them. Alright, 2 creatures. I don't have a Kaya's Wrath yet. That is scary.
This is hardly my worst defeat.
Alright. Feels like I have to dig up a Wrath. Or an Oath of Kaya. And I could Thought Erase my opponent's hand to take some of the sting out of whatever they're going to do next. Or I could just Teferi down this Steamkin, which, quite honestly, that's probably what I'm supposed to do. Every time I let a Steamkin live, I regret it. Every time I let a Steamkin live, I have big regrets. Now, I could also try to set up the Elder Spell thing, but against red, I think that's horrible. I think this is just a dead card, and that there's not much I can do about it. We just have to buy time for Oath of Kaias to turn up. We gotta buy time for the big effects to happen. It looks like our opponent's planning a risk factor. So, if they're planning a risk factor, let's see how well they know this situation. Send out Narset. They let it resolve with risk factor on the board. Let's thought erase them. See if they have a lightning strike. They shouldn't have let that Narset resolve. They should have played the risk factor then if that was their plan. Alright, here we go. Upstairs. Upstairs! Alright, their plan was just to burn the hell out of me. Look at all that. Holy crap. No, that has to go. So the opponent can now, they can shoot the Narset, which I guess if they're shooting Narset, they're not shooting my face. It turns risk factor back on, but they would need to draw another land, and it's their last card. So let's use the Narset. There you are. There you are, my beautiful, beautiful card. Ah. Alright. Keep an open mind indeed, friends. May we not die to another lightning strike off the top. Here comes this one. Down to 5. It was pointed out to me by a few people that I let my opponent... I took 4 from a risk factor with my Narset on the table in the past. Well, I'm gonna make it up to y'all. I'm gonna make it up to you. So we know our opponent's top decking another Steamkin. We definitely want this Oath of Kaya to occur. Is there anything that would... I guess I want another play of some kind that gets on the board. I don't really have that here. Maybe I can find a Moment of Craving. Let's go check it out. Oh, we found them. They showed up so big for us. I could save this for the other Steamkin, but I'm not going to. Not when I can gain this much life and just totally nuke my opponent's board. We have an Ugin for that Steamkin if it comes to that. Here it comes. And a cast down off the top. It's all happening. It's all happening so good right now. So we could also play Ugin and just start plussing Ugin, which is probably even better. If our opponent draws a burn spell, kills it, and attacks, it's not that much damage. I can deal with that. Okay, the exception to when I'm not afraid of a Steamkin is late in the game when the opponent doesn't have stuff. That's when I'm okay with letting them untap with the Steamkin. Wow, that was a close one. Well, we're on the draw. Our hand is slow, but we got our colors. This deck is pretty much permanently signed up to keep things like this. Oh, no Llanowar Alpha. Merfolk. We'll need some Kaya's Wrath, and we'll need it fast. And we also don't have double blue for Narset, which is scary. I mean, Merfolk is a tough deck. Don't get it twisted. It will beat you up quickly. And it will not apologize. Another black is not what we're looking for. But I do have Time Raveler into Kesmina, which might hold the fort if our opponent doesn't find more, unblockable stuff. Alright. It's a Proliferate Merfolk deck. And there's our other blue. But the play for me is definitely going to be Teferi. Minus and get this back in the hand, reset it. Save some life, save some time. Next turn's probably Kasmina, then Teferi, just minusing on our opponent's creatures, trying to keep the board clear, buy time for Kaya's Wrath. We draw Kaya's Wrath, we should be really good if our opponent's not the Spell Pierce deck. Yep. Here they come. The fish are biting. And the token goes on the speaker. Opponent's afraid of Cry of the Canarium, I think. Pretty happy to take attacks over here. Well. The opponent passes from there. There very well may be the Spell Pierce deck. Let's see what Kasmina does. Nope, resolve too easy to be Spell Pierce. There's the Wrath. Let's get rid of a Narset. We've got a few too many of those here. We definitely do want our land. Teferi's got to join the fight. Opponent spreading out those counters. They have Proliferate from a Skydiver. And it looks like they're going to use it. So I'll definitely drop the block the Silvergill. The opponent will probably use Proliferate to get some extra damage in. With their Skydiver, 5 mana Proliferate. Puts extra counters on all their things. Ow. But then we do this. I do suspect the opponent to be ready for that. I expect them to rebuild strongly here this turn. Hopefully Teferi and Narset can keep things on lock for us. Ooh, Jadebearer with no target. Actually, that is quite the display of weakness, I would say. So it's really likely that Narset can hit another 3-drop to play. We have so many in the deck. But if we miss, it's such a bad turn that I do think it's just better to play Teferi. Ooh. Do you see the stick? Our opponent has an effect now.
This isn't a fight you can win.
But let's send away the Jadebearer. Does our opponent run Dive Down? What do they have? I still think it's worth making this line to get some cards out of our opponent's hand. Incongruity. Turn it into a frog. I mean, it works. It is a strategy. Does the opponent attack Teferi now? I'm really surprised they didn't use this to dig for another creature.
Only time will tell.
But I guess you can see how their plan worked. If we try to remove their one creature, they can turn it into another. Opponent's tanking. Feels like a tension between whether or not to play something else. So we keep reducing the chances that we'll whiff with these Narsets by playing the Teferis. I still think it's totally legit to minus here.
Right on schedule.
And this time there's no stick. So minusing works out. And if we get to untap with the Teferi on the board, we're getting that much further ahead. Waters. Oh boy. Another Jadebearer. Our opponent's sequencing has been really interesting. They are trying to drag this out. They are not afraid to go long into the game. They think they're going to run us out of resources. It could happen, especially if we draw this many land down the stretch. But Narset is going to have something to say about it. Let's see what she can find.
I have practiced upon your prowess.
Oath of Kaya. Oath of Kaya protects our Planeswalkers and gives us a life boost. It doesn't deal with this. Teferi doesn't deal with it either. It could shove the Deep Root Waters back in the deck, but I think I'm okay with that being here for now. Our opponent's way of pacing their threats right now isn't... I want to use the word threatening, but it sounds like I'm being so redundant. Alright, take that out. Drop that Hallowed Fountain. Untap some land. Now if the opponent starts attacking our Planeswalkers, we gain life. The Hadana's Climb can flip here, though. Counter here, 4, flip, 8 damage. It's gonna be a lot. And dealing with this, we'll need Liliana or Kaya's Wrath to do it. It is a scary situation. Biomancer. Oh boy. Adapting, but they discard, but they don't draw another card. I think we've got an oopsie moment. That's okay, I suppose. Because if we end up dead from this Hadana's, this Winged Temple, and this creature, there'll be no regrets. But we get a lot of looks at the top of our deck thanks to Narset, thanks to Teferi, thanks to second Narset.
Bad thought.
We're gonna dig really deep.
I have just the trick for this.
And that didn't take long at all. There's the Kaya's Wrath. Boom. So with that played, let's get the enigmatic Mentor down and start making some 2/2s to attack our opponent.
My students are loyal and brilliant.
And start dropping some land off. I love the way she talks about her students. She calls them loyal and brilliant. Isn't that sweet? Alright, now the opponent's going to get to run it back. They make another creature. And then they'll get to dump counters on it. Oh wait, the climb is gone. So they can't dump counters on it, but they can double its power and toughness. I guess that's not nearly as strong. The Cumena can be a big problem. I think first and foremost, well, this can make it an 8 toughness, so this attacking isn't any good. Hello. Where you been all my life, baby? Sacrifice 2 creatures? And I'll draw 2 cards? Pretty good deal. Pretty good deal.
You know what? I'm not done yet.
New Narset? We could also Oath of Kaya the Face. Don't see the same appeal in that card. Which one would you like to keep? This one, please.
Put thoughtfulness before action.
The Elder Spell sets up the Teferi ultimate, so we'll take it. Another Deep-Root Waters. So we've got these 2 can sacrifice, put here, can ultimate it. Let's use the ability first.
An open mind.
Another Kaya's Wrath seems nice. I don't have another Planeswalker in hand, so we'll just go straight to this. You, yes. You, yes. Submit.
Such violence is
Put the counters here. Ultimate Teferi.
Farewell.
Let's make a Zombo. Let's play Oath of Kaya. Target. We'll keep this one. Target our Zombo. Draw a card. Exile the Deep-Root Waters. Opponent's gonna scoop that one up. So close. Knocking on Mythic's door. Oh. Final boss. Final boss with a Nicole Bolas avatar. We're on the play with some good early cards. The only appropriate opponent for us is mono red. If it's not mono red, it's not final boss. Sound effects much? It's pretty sweet. Alright, let's do this. Get that Mythic. Our opponent's already full controlling us. Did you see that? And it is! It's red! I don't know that's mono red. It could be Phoenix, but it sure feels like mono red with the... Oh, red-green. Okay, okay. Alright. Not exactly that. So I like using Oath of Kaya first. I like saving Teferi Time Raveler for Rekindling Phoenix, which can be a pretty big deal. And having the Oath down means that attacking our Planeswalkers becomes a lot worse. We also have a Hero of Dominaria for Rekindling Phoenix. Ooh. Oh boy. So do I run out a Time Raveler that could get killed? just to plus it? Well, our opponent would need 5 power haste, but they do have that in things like Skargan Hellkite, which is pretty frustrating. It's possible the right play here is just to say go, rather than put this on the battlefield. We could also use it to bounce our Oath of Kaya and draw a card. Might not be the worst, because then we have Oath of Kaya again ready for a Gruul Spellbreaker or something like that. But then the Oath of Kaya isn't on the board, which I don't like. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to take a risk that exactly Skargan Hellkite isn't what's about to happen here.
I'll show restraint. That's more like it.
All right, Mythic decisions. Setting up an instant speed Kaya's Wrath can be pretty awesome against a Gruul deck. But these decks can also run a ton of Planeswalkers. So the Elder Spell might still be a game breaker. Oh god, they've got 5 mana. Don't be a Hellkite. Tilt. Total tilt.
That's how it was meant to happen.
I mean, in the dark, I could have played around exactly Hellkite, and I didn't. How bad at Magic am I for not doing that, right? I don't know. So here I could play Teferi, or I could take 5 and set up Liliana, or the Kaya's Wrath. I think waiting now is the right play, and I kind of learned my lesson from last time. Teferi's my card draw. I don't want to waste it. If the opponent just plays another Planeswalker, though, I am way behind. That is a pretty bad look.
What's that? Something smells rotten. Wait, that might
They don't use the mana, and they simply swing. Okay. Oh, there's a Spellbreaker. Great. So to Wrath or to Dreadhorde General. It does feel like putting Dreadhorde General in the path of a shock is a pretty bad move when I have a Wrath in hand, so we'll go like that. I'm so used to being up against decks with Thought Erasure in them, or that every life point counts, that actually playing tactically in sort of this manner is something I've almost forgotten about, because I'm used to either having my hand ripped apart if I'm not just casting my spells, or having my life total just dwindle and I lose that way. Okay. So again here, our opponent can Growth Chamber up and turn off sound effects, because it got locked in that nasty sound. You guys can probably hear it. I do want to wait Liliana. Actually, if Liliana just comes down and starts making zombies, how good is that? Well, let's Thought Erase first. Let's Thought Erase first. Wow, without sound effects, there's like no sound in this game, is there? That is really unfortunate there, to see a Daredevil and a Daredevil. Time Raveler's good though, right? Bouncing some Growth Chamber Guardians isn't bad. Wow, without sound effects, it's really empty in here. Weird. All right. What's the play? Our opponent can't straight up kill this, and they're going to Thought Erase me now. How do I keep them from playing another Daredevil? I guess you know what? They won't play another Daredevil. If I use Teferi on this Growth Chamber Guardian, they'll want to play the other Guardian and hold up the mana to use it. So that's what I'm going to try to do. And they don't have something with haste or anything like that.
You need to slow down.
They might just go for the Daredevil anyway, and they probably should, to be honest. Daredevil wasn't a card I considered looking into that Thought Erasure. But I only have 1 card. Maybe they just won't be afraid of it. I'm really fortunate that that's what they have when I just kept a Teferi Time Raveler. All right.
Hurry.
I should play the General. Rekindling Phoenix. Let's see, can fight the zombie. Then these two can attack the General, but I draw an extra card. How much of their mana does that tie up? A bit, not a ton. Of course, we can, no. Let's go with the Raveler.
You'll thank
Let's set them completely back. Let's buy more time. Despark. Oh, that's so good here. Let's keep the one with all the loyalty.
Excellent timing.
Let's set this back again.
Let's try this.
Killing time. That's what we're doing now. Trying to get time to resolve this Liliana before the opponent takes it away with a Direfleet Daredevil activation. They're doing better on cards than we are. It's true. It can't be ignored.
Can only punish you if they catch you.
Here's the Phoenix. Not enough mana to thought erase me though this turn. Here's the Growth Chamber Guardian. I'm gonna feel like I earned it. If I pull this game off, and I'm getting ahead of myself, I'm gonna feel like I earned it because this game had a lot of decisions. All right, nice draw on the Oath of Kaya.
Quickly.
And the land so that I can play both. Hit that. Drop this.
Let us march into battle and make new comrades.
I'll protect you.
Rise.
All right, we got ahead. Can we stay ahead? Our graveyard still has a Thought Erasure in it, but there's also a Despark, which is a really good hit for this Daredevil. They can exile the Liliana. They can exile a Teferi. But I don't think they see it, and they're not going for it. They're instead growing their Growth Chamber Guardian. Second Guardian? What do you do with it? Do you play it out? If I can find another Thought Erasure to take out this Direfleet Daredevil. Ooh, they go with the fight, so I draw a card.
They were a lousy servant anyway.
Narset. What can you do for me? Let's put Narset to the test.
There are so many meditate.
Elder Spell. Oh my gosh, we did it.
I've got it.
Do I want to ultimate Liliana? Can I ultimate both? 1, 2, 3. I can only put the counters on one. But Liliana can completely take out all but one land. And we kill their Planeswalker and we leave them with this creature. You. Is that all I need? That's all I need. You could leave Liliana on the battlefield to kill something else. Suppose I may as well. Yes. Submit.
Hardly
Doesn't always
my
work
worst
out how you
feat.
want.
Put it on Liliana. -9.
Oh, I bet you wish you
Armageddon the opponent. And that's game. Mythic on a Liliana -9. What percentage do we get? Lock it in. All right, does it show here? 96. So we still got a ways to go to get up into the top, like whatever 100 we want to achieve, but we've got 10 days and I feel good about that. Well, that was a glorious day of combat with the Esper Walkers deck. If you like Esper decks, but you're not happy with the current iterations of Control, maybe you want to give this a try. And for those of you who hate this deck, you might want to get out those Immortal Suns. Pretty cold to Immortal Sun. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.